Well, it's been 20 years since Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans. Nearly 1,400 people died, thousands more lost everything, and that includes my next guest, Stephanie Knight. Her house was destroyed in a fire after her neighborhood was flooded. She was a third-year student at Tulane University School of Medicine when the storm hit, and she had to transfer to a different medical school in Houston, but she didn't give up. Nor did she quit school. Stephanie actually met fellow survivors and was able to help them process their trauma as she was working through her own. And that's what led her to her life's mission. 20 years later, she now works as a psychiatrist at the University of Maryland Medical Center and runs an inpatient psychiatric unit in Baltimore. One of her areas of focus is climate psychiatry. Dr. Knight, great to have you with us. What a story. Oh, my gosh. Yes, just thinking about that time and where you are now, how do you process that moment? I mean, I think about it. 2 decades is a long time. A lot has changed.
A lot has changed, Kira. Thank you for having me. This is such an important topic that we should be talking about every day, not just on the 20th anniversary. But it took me a long time to process what happened. It's only in the last couple of years that I've really been able to understand the true impact that the storm had on me. I'm originally from Maryland. I had moved down to New Orleans for medical school and immediately fell in love with the city, as so many people do. The people of New Orleans are amazing and they are so resilient. But my experience in Katrina was life-changing. And as you mentioned, 1,400 people, almost 1,400 people died. There were hundreds of billions of dollars of damages, and my home was part of that. It was looted and then set on fire. And the trauma that followed with the evacuation and relocating to Houston really shaped my life experience, and initially in negative ways, but I'm trying to make those into positive ones, and talking to you this afternoon is part of that, certainly.
Okay, first of all, I didn't realize that your house was looted and set on fire. I remember during that time, I mean, people were losing their minds. If they weren't losing what they had, they were taking advantage of other people. I am so sorry that you had to go through that. I know that was one of the worst parts of Katrina, is how people took advantage of others that were so desperate. And it clearly shaped your professional career. Tell us, at what moment did that light bulb go off where you thought, oh, this is what I meant to do?
I went into medical school insistent that I was not going to be a psychiatrist. I didn't have a really good reason for that. I was drawn more towards surgery and some of the interventional specialties. But when I evacuated from Hurricane Katrina, I was still in medical school and was able to do some clinical rotations in Houston instead of New Orleans. And I got placed into 8 weeks of psychiatry rotation, 4 weeks on an inpatient unit, and then 4 weeks doing consults for patients who were admitted to like the ICU or medical units. And I met people who had also evacuated, who lost their meds, who hadn't seen their doctors, who were really struggling. And I was also really struggling. I was absolutely in the throes of a depression after evacuating and losing everything. And I was able to empathize and relate to the patients that I was taking care of in a way that I would not otherwise have been able to, because I just wasn't really open to that, I think, before the storm. But that experience showed me that interconnectedness, that humanity that we all have at our core, really can be a foundation for connection and for resilience and for hope. And that opportunity is ultimately what led me to become a psychiatrist. And I eventually relocated back up here to the University of Maryland Medical Center, where I've been for the last almost 20 years now.
Wow, that is just incredible. So tell me about your practice now, and do you find yourself talking about what you went through when you're actually helping your patients process, trauma?
I do feel like a little bit of self-disclosure is helpful, to let people know that, hey, I'm a human being. I have things that I've been through as well. So when the opportunity presents itself, to make that connection and highlight those similarities with people that I'm providing care for, I will absolutely do that so that they can understand where I'm coming from and may give a little bit more credibility to the recommendations that I'm making for them. There's a ton of trauma disorders in the folks who are living in Baltimore. There are lots of daily struggles that people are just trying to make it. And so connecting with them and connecting them with resources is one of the things that I try to do every day. In my current role, I'm the chief of clinical services, so I'm responsible for psychiatric services in the hospital and in our clinics through the School of Medicine at University of Maryland. So there's lots of opportunity to try to help people get that access that we know that they absolutely need so they can get connected to care and address some of the ongoing traumas, be them weather or climate related or not.
Stephanie, so great to meet you. I love looking back at those pictures of you when you were a student. A lot of friends graduated from Tulane. It's an amazing school, amazing medical program. You really are doing really wonderful things. You've become the change. Dr. Stephanie Knight, thank you so much.